The kids that are in Quincy, it's the second, third grade now, they want a track. They don't want to wait till they're in the 10th grade before they can go run on the track. They might want to run in junior high. And there's kids that are in the system that haven't had a track. And I don't know, you know, it's the citizens that got to speak up about it, but it's their elected officials that you got to take a stand. They already took the stand. They shouldn't be changing it.
I tell you one thing, Gus. You know, one of the, you know, when Paul came to me, I'd say about 4 months after Parents for Pageant was formed, and he was explaining to us about, you know, the environmental settlement that they had, that he fought family against the high school to put on Faxon Field. And when we realized it was going to the appeal process now, you know, it was there was a little hesitation of Parents for Pageant joining the appeal, only because we knew how long of a process it could absolutely be. You know what I mean? Talking with Paul, he explained about his cobblestone project going a very lengthy term, and by talking amongst the group, we came to the realization, you know, the ends justifies the means. You know, if we have to wait a little longer to get a track where it best fits, so be it. Now, I go down to have my son's in track, Ryan, and we go down to Kavanaugh Field. I know people around that neighborhood. My father grew up on Glover Ave. It's awful over there. You know, I know one lady who was there, and her mother lives there, and people park in front of her driveway. You know, can't get out because people are going to track, parking in front of. Those are issues that are going to happen in any neighborhood. The track doesn't belong in anybody's neighborhood. It belongs up on Pageant Field where they have enough parking adequate for everything. But the dust that comes up off that gravel track is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
you
tough.
know.
I mean, I remember I got down there in the fall for football. It's brutal. You can't even park. Even if you go there for baseball games at Atlantic, it's tough. So, Paul, you don't take any favorites. You have a position, a legitimate position, and your group has a legitimate position. You don't care who the mayor is. You're opposed to any development of Faxon Field.
We feel that Faxon Field is an environmental resource that ought to be protected.
Okay.
I'm not taking any position as to where the track should be, other than it does not belong on Faxon Field.
Okay.
If the city is forced to withdraw from Faxon Field and choose another site, no matter what site they choose, it'll be subject to environmental review. Again, if there's environmental obstacles to another site chosen by an administration, we'll review those environmental obstacles.
Well, what is the city department that handles environmental stuff? Is the Conservation Commission?
It is the Quincy Conservation Commission. They voted to grant they accepted the notice of intent and voted to grant a order of conditions. Included in that order of conditions, though, were two clauses. The first one was that there had to be an equalization pipe from Site 2, which is the swamp off Russell Park, into Site 1. And the second one was that the city promised that they would reline the culvert going down Coddington Street, bending right on the southern artery and going down Broad Street. Again, this whole area is under the direction of the Corps of Engineers, and I don't believe they've applied for that either. Okay. Before they can touch that, they must obtain approval of the Corps of Engineers. And while I mention the Corps has one major principle, and it's called LEDPA, LEDPA, the least environmentally damaging practical alternative. When push comes to shove on Faxon Field, since there are other environmentally less damaging alternatives, the Corps ought to mandate that the track go other than on Faxon Field.
Okay. Now, I just lost my train of thought while you were talking. Now, this Conservation Commission, has the members on that changed since Mayor Koch took office? Or are they still holdovers?
Many of the members are the same. I believe there's one or two that have changed. I do not really fault the members of the Conservation Commission, and let me tell you that when Mayor Phelan took office, when I went into court in Norfolk, I made this statement before Norfolk Superior Court on Cobblestone. I said that the Quincy Conservation Commission had the practice of entering into the record false and misleading documents and an offer to prove. When shortly after I left Norfolk Superior Court, the four members of the Conservation Commission resigned. The chairman, Chris Carroll, the vice chairman, Paul Kennedy, Joanne Conlon Walsh, who was formerly a city councilor here, and a fourth man, I believe his name was Bruce Patton or something, but he was studying for his law boards and was fairly new on the commission. The other three, I believe, resigned because they did not want to face what I might state as the court case continued. There have been many instances.
But that was on Cobble. That's on the track. That was on a different
That
issue.
was right. But so what that did, when those members resigned, it allowed Mayor Phelan to appoint a new group of conservation commissioners, and I believe they've done a fairly well job. I disagree with them on this issue.
But so the other people were Sheets people then.
The other people, they or even before that.
Yeah. Okay.
There's trying to think. There's very few that were there. The only one, Dr. James Iorio, has returned to the commission after an absence. The commission does a very, very good job. They just happen to disagree with this. I just happen to disagree with this issue.
So let me ask you this question now, because we're going to have a very busy September. There'll be a primary if these other two people run for mayor, and then you're going to have the election in November. So you're going to have 3 months. You're going to have August, September, and October. How are you guys going to be out there so the voting public knows the distinction between these two positions? Or, the former mayor who was running for re-election had a position at Pageant Field. He still has that position at Pageant Field, I believe. Spent the money, put it in place, did the best he could. The incoming mayor has went and changed all of that. How are you going to get that word out to people so they understand? Because there'll be a lot, plus there'll be more weird stories out here every day. There'll be a different, he did this or he did this, How are you going to get that out there so that people hone in on it?
I think we've actually done a pretty good job at getting the word out.
Well, you've done it at the supermarket and stuff.
Yeah, we've been down at the supermarket. We work over at the track meets, whether it be for the little kids or for the middle schools. Good indication. As Parents for Pageant, has decided to support Mayor Phelan, and we've asked the track community in itself to go along with us. And a good example was we handed out invitations for Mayor Phelan's kickoff down at the track meet over on Kavanaugh. We handed out 49 of them. Only one person said they didn't want one, and they were supporting Mayor Koch. So, I mean, that right there tells me we've gotten our message across that that we need to get the track at Pageant Field, and the only way we're going to do it is to show it with votes.
Well, I would think, myself, the taxes are a big issue in Quincy. This Mayor Koch has raised the taxes dramatically, very high on people, businesses and stuff like that. And that money's already been spent. I would say that, if I was in charge of a committee or doing a committee, I would make sure that I hit everybody. The old thing, you tell 10 friends, tell friends. Because I know the issues there. You've done a good lot, but everybody's going to be worrying about, taxes and police and firemen and stuff like that. But I think that you got to tie this in with the tax rate we're paying. We've already spent money. It's a waste of money to go to Faxon Field, because we've already spent money for it. And they're spending money now to do it basically against the wishes of the city council, which holds the purse strings.
Well,
and they voted not to put it there. And they just keep on spending money, spending.
And one of the difficulties in the city, Gus, is that the city council has been without an auditor for many, many, many months. That is really a disservice to the people of the city of Quincy, because the city council can't ask an auditor who is supposed to be solely responsible to them to review the expenditures. City council now has to ask the mayor's auditor, and he's the mayor's man.
Well, the
Consequently,
city council, though, they're pretty tough in Quincy. I think they do a good job. I mean, I mean, there's certain people on there that are going to be co-people, though, but I think they do a decent job. But he's probably got at least 3 solid votes, because they get stuff. In other words, it's politics, city council, the mayor might be, doing him a favor here or there, whatever, I mean, it's a